Hi friends, welcome to Taming Python series. In this video, we're going to talk about how to use macros in Python Flask Jinja templates. Why do we need to use macros in Jinja templates? Macros help us in reducing repetition in Jinja templates. A macro in Jinja template is just like a Python function. It takes in inputs and renders a template. Here is an example of a Jinja macro. To create a macro, you need to declare it using a macro and end macro tag. And here is the macro named render input. These are the inputs which we are declaring to the macro, just like Python function inputs. And notice that we have even declared the default inputs to the macro here. And if I call this macro, this template will be rendered in place of the macro. And this macro can make use of the input variables and render them in the output template. Here is an example of how we are calling a macro inside the template. So I'm calling the macro called rendered input and I'm giving the inputs to the macro here. Since I've declared optional inputs to the macro, I've used only two inputs to this render input macro here, but here I'm overriding the default inputs by giving more inputs to the macro. Alright, let's get started with coding. I'm going to take a blank folder and I'm going to open it with VS Code. I'll just create a new file and I'll just name it server.py. So this server.py is going to be our Flask server. So I'm going to just copy paste a simple Flask server code. So this is our simple Flask server. I'm just creating a Flask instance and I'm running the Flask instance to run at localhost and port 5000. If I call the home page of the Flask server, I'm going to render a template called home.html.j2. So I got my server ready. So I need to declare this template, right? Home.html.j2. So I'm going to create a new folder and I'll name it templates. And in this template, I have to create a file called home.html.j2. So let's copy this and create a new file by the name home.html.j2. So this is my home.html.j2 page. And this page consists of a table where each row of the table is used for the form input. The first row is to facilitate the input of name, second row is to facilitate the input of phone, and so on. So here you can notice that there are a lot of repetitions for each input row, and we can use macros to reduce the code and improve the readability of this HTML page. So before using macro, let's try to run this server. So I'm going to go to this server.py and run this. So I'm going to go to my browser and write localhost 5000, and if I just go to the page, I've got my form rendered. So here each row has a input field label and input field where you can enter the input. Alright, let's try to use macro to reduce the HTML code now. So first I'm going to create a macro here. So I'm going to write the macro starting and closing tags, and now here I'm going to declare the macro name. So I'll just write the macro name as render_input, and in each row you can notice that I'm giving a label to the input. So I'll just give an input called label here. And here I'm giving the type of the input. It can be text, number, and so on. So I'll give another input called input type, and by default it can be text. That means if you don't mention the input type, it will be considered as text. And the name of the input field, so I'm giving the field input as input name. But since I have a default input here, I have to declare it first. So I'll just cut this here and write label input name, because the default options should always come at the end. So that's it. I've declared a macro and I've declared what are the inputs to this macro. So let's try to render the macro. So let me try to just take this row here, copy and paste it here. And here instead of name, I'm going to render the label, and instead of writing the type here directly, I'll just get the type from my input, which is input type. And instead of writing the name here hard-coded, I'm going to get the name from the function input, which is input name. And that's it. Now by calling this macro, I don't need to write the whole row. I can just write render input. So this is for the name, right? So the label is name and the input name is username and the input type is text. So since text is the default input type, I don't need to write it. So I can just write render input name and username, and input type will be automatically taken as text. And now similarly I have to render this row using template. So let's copy paste this row and write the label as phone, the name of the input as user phone, and since the type is number, I have to explicitly give to the function. So I'll just write input type equal to number. So now I can delete this one also. And next I need to render the email. Here the label would be email and user email is the name of the input field, and the type of the input is email. So let's copy this type of the input as email. So I don't need to render this row also. And the last thing is render the city input. So the label is city, name of the input field is user city, and the type is text. So I don't need to mention explicitly the type because by default it's text. And now I don't need to render this row also. So now you can see I've increased the readability and reduced the repetition in my template code using simple Jinja macro. So what I did is that I have declared a macro and used that macro in my Jinja template. So now since our template is ready, let's go to server and run it again, and let me try to reload my output, and you can see still the output is same. So if I just view the page source here, you can see for each row I've got my output rendered in the desired format from the Jinja macro. Hey, this looks good, but what if I move this render input function to another folder so that my template looks more readable? So let's try to create a new file in this templates folder. I'll just name it formhelpers.html.j2, and I'm just going to cut this macro and paste it here in this formhelpers.html.j2, which is located in the same folder of the templates folder. And now in order to use this macro from this template, I need to import it, right? So the syntax for importing a macro from another template file is basically you need to start and end this brackets and use this percentage, and here you're going to write from, and here you want to give the path of the template file. So the path of the template is underscore form helpers.html.j2, and from this file you're gonna import the macro name, which is render underscore input, and here I need to keep this in the inverted commas. So that's it. Using this from import statement, I can import the macro from another file. So now my template looks more readable and my code is being split between two files. So now my form helper can be used in multiple templates. So let me try to save my server again so that I can see the changes in my browser. So I'm going to reload this page again, and still my output remains the same. And if I view the page source, the output is as desired. So we have successfully imported macro from another file. So what if I place my form helpers file inside another folder inside the templates folder? So I'm just going to create a new folder, and I'm going to make the folder as helpers, and I'm going to move this form helpers.html.j2 into the helpers folder. So how am I going to use that form helpers.html.j2? So you want to give the relative path of the html.j2 file. So here I'm going to write from helpers slash form helpers.html.j2. So I'm going to run this server again, and if I just reload it, you still got the output. That means in whatever the folder the template is present, you can import that using this relative path with respect to the templates folder, and then import the macro. Let's talk about using the special variable called kwargs to handle extra inputs that are supplied to the Jinja macro. In our HTML template, to render the input called email, I have used the macro called render input, and I have given all the three inputs to this render input. So if I give extra key value input, something like size equal to 100 and class equal to email, and if I run this server, I'm going to get an error that this macro only handles 3 inputs, but you have given 5 inputs. So what can you do in that case? So now if I have a problem statement like I'm going to take this extra input key value pairs which are supplied to my macro and use that as HTML attributes to this input HTML tag. So I'm going to accomplish that using the kwargs special variable. So kwargs variable will contain the extra inputs to the macro as a Python dictionary. So I can iterate over that Python dictionary to get the key value pairs of all extra inputs supplied to this macro. So in my case, if I want to grab these extra inputs called size and class and declare them as HTML attributes to the input HTML tags, I can run a simple Jinja for loop just like this. So start the for loop using this for and end for tags, and here after for I'm going to write k comma v, which is key comma value, in the special variable called kwargs.items. So now I can iterate over each key value pair inside the kwargs dictionary, which contains all the extra named inputs supplied to my render input macro. So inside the for loop, I'm going to render the HTML something like this: k equal to, inside inverted commas, I'm going to write v. So what I'm doing is that I'm taking all the extra key value inputs that are supplied to this render input macro and getting each dictionary item using this for loop and using the dictionary key as HTML attribute and value as the HTML attribute value. So in this example, if I say size equal to 100, class equal to email, those things will appear in the HTML tag of this input HTML tag. So let me try to save this now and save the server and run this server. And if I go to the source of this page, here you can see I got my extra inputs, size equal to 100, class equal to email, rendered using this macro kwargs items. So this way, using the kwargs special variable inside the macro, you can even handle extra key value pairs that are supplied to the macro inputs. So that's it guys. That's how you can use macros in Python Flask Jinja templates. Though the concept is simple, it helps you in making your code look a lot readable and clean and reduce repetition in your Python Flask templates. You can see I've created a blog post on using macros in Python Flask Jinja templates. I have even given you the source code and templates so that you can practice it in your own computer. So be sure to check out the link of this blog post in the description of this video. I have also given you the references to the official documentation. So let's try to open this documentation. This is a very good Jinja templating documentation, and here in the official documentation also they have explained macros in a very good way, and they have also given you the examples, so you can even check out the official documentation of Jinja macros. And just below the macros section of the official documentation, there is another section called call. So if you want to call a macro from another macro, you can use this call function inside your Jinja templates. Currently, I did not cover this call function in this video. You can even check out this call function if you want to do nested macros. Hope you like this video, guys. Feel free to post your valuable feedback or ask any questions in the comment section. Thank you for watching, guys.